morning, everyone. One of the interesting things about cutting firewood is you find some pretty nice pieces of wood, and it's almost a shame to cut them up and burn them. Well, several months ago, I guess it was earlier this year, my neighbor had a large ash tree, and it was about to fall down onto the power lines. So they had the electric company come out and cut it down, and they just dropped it right there in their yard with the understanding that we would take care of it, which we did. So several videos ago you saw me splitting with my manual log splitter, or my old log splitter, some of these large chunks of ash, and they were pretty big. They were 32 inches in diameter. So one of those pieces, my wife said, "Hey, can we make some tables out of these?" And I said, "Sure, I'll just have to cut them into slices," which is a lot easier said than done, I'll have you know, because cutting with a chainsaw is not all that precise when you're trying to cut something that large with a bar that's 25 inches long and you're trying to cut a 32-inch diameter piece of wood. So they came out okay. They weren't perfect, but good enough for making some primitive tables. Anyway, so today I'm going to make the support and the legs for this table. So that's what I'm doing now. We're going to head down to the shop and we're going to get started. Alright, so this is my shop. It is, I'm going to warn you right now, it's too small for what I want to do. This is basically a 14 by 30 prefab shed that I've had for 20 years, and I've converted it to a blacksmith shop, machine shop, and welding shop, etc., etc. And it's just too small, and I need a bigger building, but I don't have the money for a bigger building right now. Okay, so this is just a really quick tour of the shop. There's not, like I said, it's not real fancy. Oxyacetylene outfit, a metal brake. This is my stick and TIG welder. I've got a MIG welder hiding under there, a little plasma cutter, a bunch of anvils, swage blocks, my large gas forge, another big anvil, my lathe, which I try to keep covered up, especially when I'm working with any flying dust particles. That has to stay covered. My South Bend 42-inch milling machine, bandsaw and drill press are jammed in over here. There's another gas forge on the floor. Storage is everywhere. Tools, buffing wheel, drill sharpener is over here. More tools and parts and nuts and bolts. And as I said, things are just scattered everywhere, and I don't have enough room for anything, so it just winds up being in a big heap. For today's little adventure, we're going to be using this antique slip roll. I've got a piece of material already laid out for the ring for underneath the table. So figuring out that I want my ring to be 22 inches in diameter, we're going to go 22 times 3.1415. That gives me just a hair over 69 inches. This does not have to be very precise. So 69 inches of material. So I'll get this measured. 69 inches right there. We'll give it just a, let's see, we'll make it 69 1/4 to compensate for the thickness of the material. See my chalk mark. Probably the easiest thing to do is put this in the bandsaw. This is an old bandsaw dating from the 1970s, I believe. I tried to cut that square. We'll see. And I will be speeding through some of this just because I know it's boring. Alright, so before we can use this, we need to clean it a little bit. Get some of the crud off the rollers. Even though I'm just doing a little piece here. Now we are going to adjust the two front rollers to clamp the material. Okay, so the two front rollers we need to adjust so that they're tight on this, just snug. Okay, we'll do the same for over here. Nice and tight. Tight, even pressure. And now the rear roller, this is sort of a trial and error thing. I'm going to start this right in here, and I'm going to get it clamped. And then the next trick, I need a stand for this. Now what I want to do here is I want to try to make this as square to these rollers as possible. So what I'm doing is I'm looking down from the top at the top roller, because if it's not square here, it's not going to be square in the back. It's pretty good right there. If it's not square, instead of getting a ring, I'll get a bend like a cone. And that's not what I want. Okay. So now I want to feed this in slowly. Now I'm going to... Now the rear roller, this is all the way out. Now, unfortunately, this thing is an antique, and it has no markings of any sort, none that I could see. So you don't really know where 0 is. You can mark these, so I know how many turns to make. All right. There's one. I don't lose track and get too far off course. And I'm going to bring this up just a little bit above the level of the bar. So we're going to go one more turn. Okay, that looks good to start with. And as I said, this is trial and error. Maybe there's math that you can do to figure this out. I don't know. I haven't been able to learn that. Alright, now we're going to give it a go. Alright, so now I'm going to try to do some, a little bit of adjusting here. Just a little bit. This. That one. There we go. Alright, so that's going to heat up. That'll take about 10 minutes to get hot enough. So this just happened. This is a tube of Dykem used for marking high spots. Somehow this was up in the rafters, up in there. You can see the blue stain up there, and my wife was standing directly underneath of it, and it dripped right on her face. So she's pumped. I mean, she is seriously pumped right now. I guess the mice decided to drag this up into the ceiling. I can't imagine how that is anything close to food or tasting good. But somewhere there's a blue mouse running around. I was looking for this for a long time. I was like, I know I bought this, and I had it up on my shelf, and now I can't find it. It was sitting up there on the shelf next to the other things at Dykem, and they ate one of those too. Unbelievable. Yeah, so they chewed a hole in the liquid Dykem, and it poured all down the wall and down on my lathe and got everywhere. Mice. It's a battle, and I don't know that I can win it. So having the chop saw outside is not a bad thing. It's very loud, it's very dirty, and just keeping it outside is a whole lot better. So now what I'm doing is I'm making the tab pieces out of a piece of 1-inch angle iron. It is time to clean this up, and I'm going to just use the flap disc, get this nice and clean on the inside, because that's where I'm going to put the tabs, and we're going to have to paint it, so it has to be clean. I'm going to speed this up, so here goes. cut some legs, and this is all it's going to be. Very simple, and I'm just gonna put a scroll on the end of one, and the other is just going to be cleaned up and attached to the ring. So super simple. That's what they want. They don't want anything fancy, and that's it. So we're gonna get these in the fire and get going here. Now I'm just going to finish this up off camera, and we'll be done for now. The battery in the regular video camera died, so I wasn't able to finish the video of the rest of this. But anyway, here it is. It's functional. So I made a couple of bars to go across and just twisted them. And that's it. So that will be the base for a heavy wooden table. So I'll take a picture of it later when it's finished, and see you then.